All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today's video is going to be my personal preference out of all these four here bikes. I've ridden many bikes, not even just these brands here, Kawasaki, Honda, and Suzuki. Ridden Yamaha, had Yamaha, BMW S1000. I want to say the only bike I really haven't ridden was an MV Agusta. Ridden a Ducati Monster to be exact. But if anyone is in the market at bigger bikes, like the Leader 1000 bikes or even a Hayabusa, and they're concerned about, if they would like it, what should they go with, what brand, and all in all, they're all great bikes, to be honest. But starting with the first one here, the Honda CBR 1000 RR. This is particularly a 2008 to 2000, I want to say 11 when they kept this body style. They changed it to a big one, but they still kind of handled the same. They just switched up the look in 2012, I believe. Great bike, handles well, very slim, the lightest out of all four of these, but not the quickest. It does handle well, but with this particular bike, it takes an actual rider to really ride this bike to, I don't even say put to its limits, because none of us average Joes can push these bikes to their limits, but to relatively actually thrash out on these things, you really got to know what you're doing, because you got to work this bike. It doesn't just drop in and handle seamlessly, kind of like the Cowie and the K6. The K6 just drops into the turns and it holds on like rails. And the ZX10 right here, the Gen 3, which is 2008 to 2010, handles beautifully. You're sitting a little bit taller on this one. I keep focusing on the booster. you sit a little bit taller on this one compared to the K6. This has more power at this moment than the K6 because it has a little flash and tune pipe, Canon filter. K6 is basically stock. So this one definitely pulls a lot harder than the K6. But in terms of handling, out of all four, from switchback, which is left to right, the not K6, the Gen 3 actually gets my vote in that. Not being biased, just being honest. The not K6, I want to say that so much, but the Gen 3 ZX10 definitely flicks left to right a lot better. And it handles, it feels like it's planted into the corners, and it's easier to maintain your body position too, at least to me. Fits me well compared to all of these. Now the Busa, where it basically shines overall, obviously it's a newer bike, the Gen 3, or yeah, that's actually Gen 3 too. From 2022 and up, I believe they made these. It definitely handles beautifully. It's like you're floating on a pillow. This thing, it just glides through the wind, and when you tuck behind that windscreen, you feel nothing. It's like riding on a Cadillac. Smooth power delivery, loads of torque. You can just fucking fly. Out of all bikes, this is the fastest. Out of all four of these things, nothing can touch this thing. At least in here. I'm not sure what everybody else has. I'm not saying this is the fastest bike in the world, but it's definitely capable. The K6 shines with just more of overall balance. You would think the Honda would win that, but no, the Honda is just the lightest. I don't feel like it handles the best out of all four, but it's the lightest for sure. Great torque, great mid-range power, but it's definitely on the bottom end, in my opinion. But the K6 has great mid-range. Bottom end kind of lacks, just like the Cowie, but great mid-range. It's a balanced bike. The seating position is a little bit more neutral and not as aggressive like the Kawasaki here, the Gen 3 ZX10. This is more neutral. Kind of more of your everyday rider can jump on one of these and feel comfortable and get used to them fairly quickly. You actually gotta have some skill to really ride the Gen 3 ZX10, CBR 1000, Booster. You really don't see people throwing those things around. But as in for acceleration, I would say the Gen 3 takes it top end. Busa. For top end speed, as they said, Busa, ZX10, K6, believe it or not, then the CBR 1000. Because I actually feel like the K6 actually pulls a lot stronger than the CBR 1000, the 2008 here. A lot of people may disagree, and that's fine. Everybody has their personal opinion. I'm not saying this is a bad bike. It's a great bike, but it's definitely not one of the tops on the list. But gas range, they're all relatively the same. Boost, you can go about 200 miles to the tank, maybe a little bit more depending on what you're doing. I personally have gotten, I want to say 205, just cruising around 205. Fantastic bike overall. You can't really, now this is a heavy beast though. This beast is heavy. But overall, this is just a wonderful bike. If anybody's in the market of getting a new Busa, definitely do it. Don't wait. It's a great machine. It's your choice. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think.